Parker, amazing job, man. Congratulations on this film. I absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
First question I have, though, is where did the idea from Smile come from? And was it always in your plans to expand your short, Laura Hasn't Slept?
Well, no. So I made Laura Hasn't Slept just to kind of stand alone. I think all good shorts should stand alone.
Sure.
It exists for their own right. But while I was in post on that, there was something about it that kept lingering with me, and this idea for this larger story started to emerge. And then this totally separate character story was born out of it. And yeah, it rattled around in there, and then it just came pouring out of me.
It's amazing. Sosie does a fantastic job in this film, man. She knocks it out of the park. What did she bring to the role of Rose that wasn't necessarily on the page?
You know, Sosie is so incredible at what she's able to do. She brings this vulnerability and really draws you in as this character that you end up caring for so much, but then has to go to these really, really, just elevated, insane kind of heightened places,
right.
All that anxiety and fear and melodrama that's going on, and she's able to do both, and it's an absolute magic trick, I think.
You and I are both fans of practical effects, especially in the genre of horror. Can you talk to me about how practical effects add to the horror genre, and especially in this film?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on practical effects. I love them. It's one of the reasons I wanted to make horror films in the first place. I think that, as far as like making a film in production, when it's really there, it's in front of the camera, it just has this, gravity to it, and the actors can interact with it. It really changes things on set. And then for audiences, I think we can sniff out bad CGI, but when it's real and it kind of breaks your brain a little bit. You're like, what am I looking at, and how is it possible that this exists on screen? I love that.
Right.
That's for me, that's movie magic.
I'm a big fan of your cinematic language, like from your cinematography to your camera shots. Amazing job across the board. Is there any influences you took from anything else to help inform this film?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we're all sort of made up of all of our influences, but some films that were on my brain while I was making this in a big way was certainly like Rosemary's Baby,
right.
And how that sort of positions us with that character, and the camera movement and blocking in that. Todd Haynes' Safe is a movie that I was constantly thinking about during this, the way that it places you and in the character's anxiety and just keeps ratcheting that up as she goes down that rabbit hole. That was part of it. And then, Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cure, just the sort of nightmarish atmosphere of that film throughout that investigation, was something that was definitely on my mind while I was making this.
Oh, that's incredible, man. What was the most difficult part about expanding, kind of like the short, or expanding on the short into making it a feature?
Yeah.
And also, what was the most fun part on the flip side of that?
Well, certainly the most fun part was the opportunity. I feel so lucky to have gotten to make this movie in the way that we got to make it. But it's the story really. It was all about this character journey that I wanted to write and to turn into a film. And it was about taking what I really loved about the short, all those pieces of DNA, and threading them through into this new story and making sure that it was working.
Now, we go through Rose's journey, and the more and more we dive deeper into her story, the more people kind of like fall out of her life, or she feels more isolated, and she doesn't feel the support from the closest people around her. Can you talk a little bit about the theme of isolation? Because I know you wrote this during the pandemic.
Right.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, isolation was something that I think we've all experienced, especially just coming out of a pandemic. But, it's that universal fear of not being believed was something that was really on my mind, as well as the fear of the unknown.
Sure.
And this was all stuff that was kind of became a potent, alchemy that led the story.
Now, I know that you're a huge horror fan. Is there any horror characters or franchises that you'd like to take a stab at? No pun intended.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting. We'll see. Maybe.
We'll see.
I want to make things that feel very, original or
Sure.
at least surprising and new. So.
So I'm a big fan of your other short, The Hide Behind.
Oh wow! Thanks.
It's fantastic. Is there any plans to expand that into a feature, possibly?
Not at the moment. Again, that was something I just made that I thought could exist great on its own right, and it was just a fun little thing that people seem to really grab onto. Yeah.
Parker, I cannot wait to see what you do next, man. Congratulations on the film. It is fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.